All right, hello. How's it going? How are you doing? 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Special edition of the Daily Faded for no particular reason. I don't even have very interesting things to talk about. You could call the whole thing off right now, in fact. Just kidding, if you're new watching this video. So I hope everyone had a good Saturday. It's a lot like Friday. It's a lot like Thursday. It's a lot like Wednesday. I actually went to Costco today, and that was absolutely thrilling. Got toilet paper. That's the important thing, right? So it's Saturday, and we have lost over 20,000 American lives to coronavirus. $20,000 on April 11th, 2020. Worldwide, we're up to 1.78 million confirmed cases of coronavirus, which is up over 4.7% from yesterday. And 109,046 deaths, which is up over 5.9% from yesterday. US, 533,243 cases, up over 9% from yesterday. 20,577 deaths, up over 9.7% from yesterday. That's 1,826 deaths reported today. Our rates went up a little bit in California. 22,363 cases as of today, which is up over 4.59% from yesterday, and 630 deaths in California, which is up a little over 5%. With 20K, we surpassed Italy, so we now have the worst outbreak in the world. That said, Italy has lost 32 individuals per 100,000, while the United States so far has only lost 6 per 100,000. I assume that the end number is going to be a lot higher than 6. LA extended its state safer at home order until May 15th. I am pretty sure we're here at least until June. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I was just on a Zoom call with a bunch of my friends who mostly live on the East Coast, and things are a lot scarier on the East Coast. The first federal purchase of N95 masks was March 21st. That alone should be grounds for removal from office. I mean, really, March 21st was the first day that the federal government decided to order N95 masks. That's, god damn. We should be able to have an emergency vote and remove Trump from office. I would prefer to have Pence as president right now during this crisis. I would take him. Although, oh God, to hear him up there, he always talks about making sure you continue to tithe, which seems inappropriate to me coming from the White House press room. So Joe Biden has proposed lowering the Medicare age to 60. Yes, that is Joe Biden's brilliant way to reach out to younger voters is to say Medicare for 60. Even Hillary Clinton ran on 50 or 55. Even Hillary Clinton ran on lowering the Medicare age to 50 or 55. What do they think they're doing? Do they really think like all these people who want Medicare for all are gonna, oh, we'll give them Medicare at 60. That'll mean people are no longer suffering under the burden of loathsome health insurance companies. Uh, and by the way, the reason that was even in the reason that was even in the platform was because Bernie Sanders stayed in the race and used his delegates in the convention to put pressure on the platform committee, which is why you should still vote for Bernie Sanders if you have not yet voted. But please vote by mail. And I just had to unscrew my purple punch, and I screwed in another purple punch. No, that's right. They didn't have purple punch. King Louis XIII. I haven't tried this one yet. Okay, so saw a report in the Seattle Times. Now, this is actually very good news. Representative Pramila Jayapal is proposing legislation to have the federal government temporarily cover the salaries of workers earning up to $100,000 a year during the unprecedented coronavirus economic shutdown. The proposed Paycheck Guarantee Act, announced Friday, would provide grants for the next 3 months to employers to keep workers out of unemployment lines, maintain employer-sponsored health benefits, and cover business expenses, including rent, according to a summary of the proposal provided by Jayapal's office. A federal paycheck guarantee is a real solution that matches the scale of the crisis. Mass unemployment is a policy choice. We can and should choose differently, Jayapal said in a new release. And I really was moved by that when she said mass unemployment is a policy choice. I think that's absolutely right. I think whenever we talk about the problems that ail society, they are all policy decisions. At some point along the line, there's a policy that either went wrong or wasn't implemented and should have been implemented. So all of this unemployment is bad policymaking. It's bad policymaking. We should have, and by the way, you can actually do this, and you could cover all the salaries for a year for $2 trillion, which is supposedly what we just spent on the coronavirus 3 legislation, even though it really is a $6 trillion outlay of money. But we should have, like the Federal Deposit Insurance Company, we should have a lender of last resort that guarantees payroll in times of national emergency. I think it's a very good idea. Look, I also believe in a federal jobs guarantee, so that you have no voluntary unemployment. I mean, involuntary unemployment. Excuse me. And so it's interesting because we talked about Josh Hawley's plan the other day, and that's a similar idea to this. This one, I think this is a better approach. It's funding it directly. Although I think with his, you fund it directly too, because it's a refundable tax credit. So I'm hoping there can be a meeting of the minds between the right and the left on a paycheck guarantee policy, because I really think that's where it's at. And those are the kinds of big structural things that we have to always be thinking about. I mentioned this tweet earlier on another live stream where Charles M. Blow tweeted, I will say this, the moderate argument against Bernie Sanders that people are not interested in massive structural change but incremental change has fallen away. COVID-19 has ensured that we will experience massive structural change, whether we want it or not. And I think that's just true. I think, and for Charles M. Blow, he's not exactly a progressive. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what he is. He's a Democrat. Um, he's a Democrat. I generally find his writing tolerable, more so than other writers at the New York Times, more so than fucking Thomas Friedman or David Brooks. I actually saw Thomas Friedman speak at an event once. I think it was like a Heritage Foundation event or something like that. No, Brookings. It was. I knew it wasn't the Heritage Foundation. Why would I be at a Heritage Foundation event? I went to a Brookings Institute event actually, and was in a very small group seeing Thomas Friedman. But God, that guy. He's super wealthy. He's got massive business interests. So what I wanted to do tonight is I just wanted to mention a couple of things that I didn't mention so that I have a clean slate tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Monday. So there was a Medicare for All morning consult poll a few days back. This may even have been last week. I'm not sure. Well, it was sometime during the last week. And it was really interesting. They did a Medicare for All poll, and ages 18 to 64, Medicare for All has a 59% support and a 29% oppose. And ages 65 plus, it's 39% support, 52% oppose. A big part of that 52 oppose is people who watch Fox News and hear propaganda like Medicare for All is actually Medicare for none, which it most certainly is not. But I think it's kind of fucked up. If anyone is watching the stream and you're on Medicare, enjoy your benefits. I think you should get more benefits. But I kind of think it's fucked up for people with Medicare to tell people without Medicare that they can't have it. I just think that's kind of messed up. Especially when there's a pandemic and more people are going to die if they can't go see a doctor. So there's an interesting social justice magazine online called Yes Magazine. And there was an article there that I wanted to talk about. Colonization and coronavirus, indigenous communities in the Amazon increasingly vulnerable. At the end of January, Edward Luz, president of New Tribes Mission of Brazil, announced the acquisition of Ethnos 360 Aviation R-66 helicopter, able to operate in the remote rainforests of western Brazil. And he told a small group of Christian evangelicals assembled in Rio de Janeiro that, quote, God will do anything to see to it that mankind hears his word. If a helicopter becomes necessary, he provides it. The mankind to whom Edward Luz referred includes isolated Amazon indigenous groups. Brazil has 115 confirmed indications of such groups, more than any country in the world. All but 2 are in the Amazon biome. Many are concentrated in the west near the frontier with Peru, which is the area targeted by Ethnos 360 Aviation. So you can already tell this one's off to a really good start, right? It's got all the properties for a good story. Deranged evangelicals, helicopters, and foreign viruses being brought into small indigenous tribes. It's a good thing they defend themselves on North Sentinel Island. Anyone tries to bring coronavirus to North Sentinel Island, they'll get a spear in the face. Or arrows. I guess it's arrows, not spears. It's arrows. They shoot arrows. FUNAI, FUNAI, Brazil's indigenous agency, learned of these events and forbade the missionaries from installing themselves in the indigenous villages. Instead, missionaries tried to attract the Zoe to their base outside of indigenous land. According to the Socio-Environmental Institute, a Brazilian NGO, the missionaries' objective was to learn the Zoe language so they could begin the literacy process, translating the Bible, and thereby conveying the word of the Lord to the group. The Zoe began to die rapidly from malaria and influenza, diseases to which they lacked Westerners' resistance. In 1989, Funai visited the missionary base and was shocked at the poor state of indigenous health. Relations with the missionaries deteriorated, and in 1991, Funai took over, forcing New Tribe's mission to leave. An estimated 45 Zoe died between 1987 and 1991. Their population, which fell to 133 in 1991, is recovering and is estimated at 250 today. But they remain vulnerable as a people to disease and the loss of their ancestral land to invading cattle ranchers and soy growers. Another notorious outcome of New Tribe missions work in Brazil includes the case of Warren Scott Kennel, who served as one of their missionaries between 2008 and 2011, living with the Catuquina in western Amazona state. Over several years, he built a trusting relationship with girls as young as 12, then sexually abused them. Tipped off about these crimes, U.S. Homeland Security stopped Cannell at the Orlando, Florida airport and found he possessed more than 940 images of child pornography. So, even in the middle of a pandemic, those other background stories, I just thought they were fascinating. But even in the middle of a pandemic, at the very end of January, they're trying to go proselytize to what they would call the savages. It actually goes beyond settler colonialism. I guess it's evangelism. You know, it is. It's just breathtaking. It's just breathtaking. Um, and there was another story that you may have heard about, which is good old Indian affairs back here home in the United States. This was from Time. The U.S. Department of the Interior motorcycle. How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. We had 7 people at one point, but I wasn't interesting enough to keep them. Oh well. They will come. Build it and they will come. I am incredibly grateful that you are watching this live stream right now. So thank you. My heart goes out to you. Time magazine, the U.S. Department of the Interior, which oversees Native American affairs, is obligated by a recent federal court decision to remove the special land designations, which were bestowed in 2015 under then President Barack Obama, according to Connor Swanson, an agency spokesman. In February, the U.S. Court of Appeals in Boston upheld a lower court decision declaring the federal government had not been authorized to take land into trust for the Cape Cod-based tribe, the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, which traces its ancestry to the Native Americans that shared a fall harvest meal with the Pilgrims in 1621. So these guys are like the original Indians. Pardon me if that's racist to say that. I don't mean it that way. But you know, again, this was several days ago, and to be taking away land that's been entrusted to a tribe, why? Why? Are they trying to sell it for fracking? I mean, I should probably know why. I don't know why they did it. Um, I think that this administration does not take the Bureau of Indian Affairs seriously. Um, so the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe from Cape Cod had a message from the chairman on their webpage. We will take action to prevent the loss of our land. At 4 p.m. today, on the very day that the United States has reached a record 100,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus, so that's like yesterday, and our tribe is desperately struggling with responding to this devastating pandemic, the Bureau of Indian Affairs informed me that the Secretary of the Interior has ordered that our reservation be disestablished and that our land be taken out of trust. Not since the termination era of the mid 20th century has a secretary taken action to disestablish a reservation. Today's action was cruel and it was unnecessary. The Secretary is under no court order to take our land out of trust. He is fully aware that litigation to uphold our status as a tribe eligible for the benefits of the Indian Reorganization Act is ongoing. It begs the question, what is driving our federal trustees' crusade against our reservation? Regardless of the answer, we, the people of the First Light, have lived here since before there was a Secretary of the Interior, since before there was a state of Massachusetts, since before the Pilgrims arrived 400 years ago. We have survived. We will continue to survive. These are our lands. These are the lands of our ancestors, and these will be the lands of our grandchildren. This administration has come and it will go, but we will be here always, and we will not rest until we are treated equally with our other federally recognized tribes, and the status of our reservation is confirmed. So, this goes into the email your congressperson category. Um, there needs to be some oversight over Interior and what they're doing, because there doesn't seem to be any good reason to just take this land. And, Donald Trump has already taken land when he allowed the Dakota Access Pipeline to go through. That was a land grab. And the U.S. government thinks nothing of violating treaties or the territorial integrity of American Indian tribes. And, their attitude is, hey, you get casinos and bully for you. Aren't you lucky? And, I'm trying to be cheerful tonight, but we have to always remember that everything we have was built on the genocide of indigenous people in what is now called North America. So, yeah. So this was just some other stuff that was going on during the week that I didn't get around to. Thank you for joining me tonight. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and peace out. Stay home, stay safe, stay well.